Alright, so I'm making this video with regards to the game itself and how to level up the appropriate stuff if you're trying to be tanky. If you're trying to carry a tank weapon, if you're trying to carry a tank shield, if you're trying to carry a tank armor, endurance is what you need to level up. I mean, most people already know this, but the stats where you have to be to in order to carry the heavy armor, the heavy shield, and the heavy weapon, all three at once, where you have to be with regards to the endurance load. So here it is. As assessment goes, if you look onto where it says well, my level, it doesn't matter, but if you look onto where it says equipment load, now right now I'm wearing something of 107.2, or at least what it says based on what I'm carrying is 107.2, but where I increase it to is 153.6. But that's not because I increase it to 153.6. It's because I'm carrying this Arsenal charm. Now if I remove the Arsenal charm, it now drops to a 131.3, which means you would have to get to 131.3 in order to carry a heavy weapon, a heavy shield, and probably the heaviest armor in the game, which is Tragut's armor. The proof of this is right here. Now I'm not sure if this weapon is the heaviest weapon in the game. Could be a heavier weapon than this, but this is weight of 23, and this is the second, probably, maybe not even the second, the third heaviest shield in the game. This is a weight of 17, and this is probably the heaviest armor in the game, because compared to this armor, and this armor is still heaviest armor. So heaviest weapon, probably the heaviest weapon in the game is 23. Maybe there's the heavier one. Probably the second or third heaviest shield in the game, and the heaviest armor in the game. So what you want to do, if you don't care about your stamina, if you don't care about having more HP because you already level up your HP and your stamina's decent, that what you really want to have more than everything on is your Arsenal charm. You can get the +2 Arsenal charm, but as far as I know, there's only a +1. Equip this Arsenal charm on and it'll give you far greater equipment load capacity than the Erdtree Favor 2. Even though Erdtree Favor 2 gives you more HP and stamina, this will give you far more capacity to wear heavy armor. But in order for that heavy armor to be lowered to the capacity where you can now do medium rolls, which is fast medium rolls like this now, you would need to make sure that your standard stats for your equipment load is at 131. And the only way to get to 131 is to have an endurance of 71. Because even if you get to endurance of 70, you will still be fat rolling even with the Arsenal charm on. So you need to be at endurance of 71. So that's what this video is about. So if I do this attack, now my faith is in effect, which means my power level, based on my stats of the faith talisman, increased by 5. So originally my faith was at 30, but now it's increased by 5 more. So for however long this faith attack is on, or the faith spell is on my body, each attack is increased by 5 more. And every time an enemy hits me, based on the talisman that I have right here, I do a successful hit, I get some type of health back in return. Not a lot, but just a small amount. And if the enemy somewhat hits me and I took blood loss, I also, my attack power for my faith, which is active for a period of time, also is increased. See, now it finally wears off. So for every full minute that's active, I get successful. Now, I don't depend solely on the faith, and that's why people go towards the Radagon Sword Seal, because the faith doesn't last for a long time once it's active. So even if you increase your faith for your weapon, the duration period for the spell doesn't last. So what you would want is for, I guess you could say, if you increase the faith itself, whether the spell lasts for a long time, you still have a faith of 35 regardless. But if you increase the Radagon and put the Radagon on, then you're not depending solely on faith anymore. You're depending solely on strength. But I don't need an extra 5 strength if I have an extra faith strength of 5. But moment the faith spell wears off, that additional boost towards faith is going to wear off as well. But at the same time, the faith in itself, the extra 5 from the faith, is not going to wear off because I have it attached. That's why I say it really depends on your setup. Radagon Sword Seal is just a boost towards everything. But if you invest in vigor that you see in Radagon, if you invest in endurance that you see in Radagon, if you invest in strength like you see it in the Radagon Sword Seal, and you invest in dex to a certain amount that you also see in the Radagon, then you don't have to worry about it, anything. But this is specifically for being a beast, carrying huge tanky armor, huge weapons, huge shields. That's all you need to know. So that's all anyone needs to know. So if anyone was worried, when am I gonna stop fat rolling? When am I gonna stop fat rolling carrying my big ass armor and my big ass shield and my big ass sword? The answer is past 71. Now, if you want to get even higher than that, to carry the heaviest armor and the heaviest weapon in the game and the heaviest shield in the game, then you'll have to be past level 80. You'll have to be at 81, because then, only then, will you be able to attach the Arsenal Charm once you're past 80. Because if you remove this talisman when you're at 80, you will still be fat rolling. This talisman is for support towards equipment load. So it will knock down, even at level 80, the heaviest stuff to wear in the game at 80, because the light cap for this game is 50. The medium cap for this game is 60. The heavy cap for this game is 70. And the best cap, or the most cap, should be 80. Once you go past 80 and you go into 85, 90 territory, 100, once you get into 90 territory, you're really wasting your time. Anything past 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, that's where you should stop. Honestly, I believe once you get to 85, you should stop. Or actually, honestly, once you get past 80, once you get to 81, you should stop. Because then you'll be able to carry the heaviest load in the game. Because now you'll be able to carry the Arsenal Charm and the L3 Charm. And that will be able to allow you to carry the heaviest weapon, and the heaviest shield, and the heaviest armor. Now, this is probably the heaviest armor in the game, but this is definitely not the heaviest shield in the game. And this is definitely not the heaviest weapon in the game. But once you're past 80, with an Arsenal Charm on, and with an L3 Erdtree Favor 2 on, you will be able to carry the heaviest shield and the heaviest armor in the game. Now, as I said before, if you do not want to deal with 2 slots being attached to equipment load, you only want to deal with 1, and your next 3 slots is based on defense and attack power, like have 1 for defense and the other 2 for attack power, or have all 3 for attack power, or to return health and have 2 for attack power, then you only need 1 Arsenal Charm, which means your equipment load has to fall into the level of, your equipment load has to be at level 131, an equipment load of 131.3. Now, if you cannot get your equipment load to 131, which is basically your endurance has to be at 71. So 131 means 71. If you can't get your equipment load to 131, if you can't get your endurance to 71, then you will not be able to carry those heavy armor. Because by themselves, they are still heavy. Without the arsenal charm, by themselves together, are still constituted as heavy. But if you truly want to wear the heaviest gear in the game, you will then have to have the Erdtree Favor 2, and you will have to have the arsenal charm. So if you don't mind having 2 equipment slots for just weighing down equipment load, 2 slots of your talisman slots to be equipped for just weighing down equipment load, and you don't mind just having 2 extra slots here to do attack power or whatever, then now you have even more equipment load down, which means you can now equip the heaviest, or probably the second heaviest, or maybe this is the heaviest shield in the game, and you will still be medium load, and you'll still be able to roll at a fast rate. So now I have an extremely heavy shield, and I have an extremely heavy weapon, and I have extremely heavy armor, probably the heaviest armor in the game. All 3 are extremely heavy, and I'm rolling quick. But you must have these 2 talismans on, Erdtree Favor 2 and Erdtree 1. But if you really just want one of them on, then I'll put you back into the heavy, which means you will have to go for a lower shield ratio, but it will still be a heavy shield regardless. Even though this is heavier, these are constituted, the last rows at the bottom here are constituted as the heaviest shields in the game. Get the arsenal charm, which is a must, and make sure your endurance is at 71, which is also a must. 70 won't work, it has to be 71. Otherwise you won't be able to be a tanky boy, you won't be able to carry that big ass shield, you won't be able to carry that big ass weapon, and you won't be able to carry the Tragat armor. So that's all I gotta say about this video.